Show tonight and a lot to talk about. I've been wanting to talk about this for a little bit. Let me turn on my headphones a little bit. So much to say, so much to say. Unbelievable. We've got major headlines on all kinds of different fronts, no doubt about it. I'm going to be going to all kinds of different screens. I'll probably need your patience a little bit to kind of get to everything. I'm producing my own show here. The big story, obviously, well, there's a bunch of big stories, but the big story is the whole situation with Iran and what's going on there. There's been a lot of pushback with, and a lot of spaces, left and right. Quite frankly, there's been a lot of things happening on X. There's a lot of things happening out there and a lot of discussion about it. And I want to frame this right. Let me make sure. Give me a second. I'm going to go to my different socials here for a second, just make sure everything's set up right. And look, and this is not a cop out, but I'm sort of in the middle, if you will, on that. That's not really that's the easiest, super shorthand, if you will. But that's not quite like where I'm at with that. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of people, in my opinion, that maybe are very against it, and there's a lot of people that are maybe very for it or somewhere in between or something like that. And my thing is, look, this is going to be results based, evidence based, in my opinion. What happens, how this thing plays out, how this works out for America and stuff like that. And I will work through that. Now there's a lot of subjects that we're going to cover tonight. I'm not going to stay up too late, but we'll work through that as quickly as possible. And I think that's where the American people are on this, quite frankly. And we're going to go through some different polls. So there's some different polls that are out there. And I was just telling people, some of my, I don't want to say they're not really friends or like ex people that I talk to and stuff like that. And like I like to say, I'm nobody. There's know a lot of things, know a lot of people, right? And but I will sometimes talk to some of the billionaires out there, some of the big influencers out there. We'll get a little back and forth. And what I've been trying to advise, in my opinion, is this is popularity is not going to be there for this if this drags on and if there's bad results. If there's great results, then there's great results. But there's significant risk here. The significant risk here. And really, people want to see that domestic agenda. They want to see that domestic agenda really working, really happening. And that's a crucial situation. And so, and particularly younger, I mean, this thing under 40, just check the polls. I don't care what poll you look at. You know what I mean? Rich Barris does polls, Fox polls, the New York Times does the polls. We're going to go to different polls out here. And like, I think Frank Luntz framed it, and I might go to that. And I'm not calling him out in particular. I'm not calling anybody out at this point. If I call someone out, then I'll tell you I'm calling someone out. But I mean, it's basically something to the effect of like, oh, well, this many people, Republicans are for it, and the Democrats are against it equal. And really, if you frame it this way, the independents are like, 50-50. But, when you really look at it, they're not 50-50. You know what I mean? Like, not like that. And so it's really how you frame these things. And it's like, look, you can frame it any way you want. You can try it. We've all known, if you know politics, polling, stuff like that. And again, I'm not alleging anything, not accusing anyone. If I may make mistakes, I apologize ahead of time. It's a live show, etc. All my disclaimers apply and all that type of stuff, right? And but I'm going live on LinkedIn. I'm going live on my different socials, and the reason being, and the reason I'm going, I'm dealing with this subject is this is a very important subject. That it affects everything. It affects our economy. I mean, Straits of Hormuz, there's affects all so many different things. Now, what I won't do tonight or anything like that is I'm not going to get into the back and forth and who's right, who's wrong, and impugn anyone's motives or something like that. I think a lot of people are coming at this. Look, I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I think everyone has their own views on this, and everyone's entitled to their own views on this. And what I think we need is a clear, open, and vigorous debate on this, because it affects so many of us, right? And this is a global situation, and certainly within America and stuff like that, and it is very expensive. and lives are on the line, it's all of that stuff. So I think that I want to have a discussion, not shut down a discussion, and I want to have a clear discussion. In addition, and I don't have this up, I want to put this, but I've been seeing, and hopefully I can go to it quickly. I've been seeing more and more, and we'll come back to this. It's going to make sense here, about AI is really like going out, like we're seeing massive job layoffs. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic or anything like that, but I think I saw something about, some big Wall Street firm. We're seeing tech firms. There's a proposed bill, I think, in New York saying, hey, AI can't take out, doctors and lawyers, stuff like that. Like there's a lot of, players. Things are moving very rapidly. And that goes back to the whole thing. We just had the elections as well, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. What's going on in Texas and Ken Paxton and Tellerico and some of this other stuff. People are saying like, hey, listen, what about the home agenda here? What about what do we vote for here? How do affordability? There's so many different things like that. And I think that somehow Trump, Trump, I think everyone gets sort of insulated, whether you're on a group chat or you just go to work all the time, or you're in Washington D.C. as the bubble and stuff like that. So I think there's a tendency to have some sort of insulation, if you will, and living in that bubble. But I think at the same time, like Trump is very skilled politically, has his finger out. So I think as long as he's able to get the information out there, and I think he's able to pivot, and I think he's a master marketer, and I think he can understand when the winds are changing. And I do perceive, I think that there was he was a little bit off course politically for a bit, and I think that there's been a pivot now, and I think that there's been a message received there, and. So at a very, very high level, without getting into, I don't want to get into, I'm no military expert. I'm not going to get into all the different permutations. I mean, we could go on for hours and hours, players. We understand that. I just want to focus on the high level political strategy and sort of just overall outlook and what that might mean for 2026, and maybe how we can speak to each other and discuss this and be able to move forward. And then I want to touch on so many other things. Again, Burger Mog and business stuff, and I got different things here, and there's a lot of things going on. Okay, so let's dive into that. And maybe I'll pull it up. I don't know the X thing. I don't know if I want to go to that or not. Let me just give me a second here. Give me a second. This isn't the greatest broadcasting, but I think yeah, I don't know this is the best, but I think just to sort of get up to speed very, very, very quickly. Let's go here. I will go to my page where I have pinned on my page, and I'm not saying this is the world's greatest thing or anything like that, peeps, but let's just get up to speed, and I'll talk through it. And this is what I said early on, and then I'll tell you where I'm at from now and from here, and we'll go from there. All right, so here we go, pinned to my page here, and let's see if is that all right. So let's see, how do I want to do this setup, this layout? Let's go this way. There we go. All right, and yeah, I guess that's where I need to. Yeah, that's maybe a little bit better. All right. Massive political capital has been used, which could have been used for key domestic policy conservatives have wanted for a generation, some of which may fuel growth and success that could have benefited the American people, economy, and GOP / Team 47 politically. Political support is negative to low negative. Okay, we'll talk negative to very low negative. Again, it depends on the group. And let me explain that. You can look at something as, we can get really into the weeds on this, but suffice it to say that you can't just look at a poll and say, well, 50% of people like it and 50% of people don't like it. That's fine. That might tell you, if you believe that poll and that's an accurate poll, whatever like that, that might tell you something. But what if the 50% of people that don't like it really don't like it? like really don't like it, and they're going to come out and vote. And what about the 50% of people like, yeah, they support the president, whatever. It's not a voting issue. It's not going to make them go to the polls. Not going to make them stay at home to the polls. You know, you see what I'm saying? So you have to really know what you're looking at in some of these different polls. You have to look at different polls, and you have to look over time and stuff like that. Like I said, in my opinion, I'm a political expert. I've been involved in politics for a long time, studied politics and studied politics. You see, Berkeley, been involved in congressional campaigns, Senate campaigns, consulted. I mean, it doesn't matter. You can look at myself. I'm not here to resume chop. There's a lot to this. Okay, and the game has changed significantly. So and what we're seeing is in the polls, and we'll go to the polls, is that people under 45, no bueno. Like, they're not into this. Okay. Trump himself ran on no war. Now, at the same time, Trump himself has been saying for a long time that Iran can't have a nuclear weapon, right? So that's all part of it too. So I mean, I'm not saying like, and we'll get back again. I don't want to get on the issue. I'm going to get into the strategy and stuff like that, because again, we can get lost in all this type of stuff. And so what we have seen, I would say, since Vietnam on, the longer conflict goes, and if we can't resolve it and be able to have some sort of victories like that, that support drops over time, typically. In addition, we've seen that it's very hard to take in and the whole regime change things. That hasn't worked out so good. Okay. In addition, it's hard to go and hold, territory. It doesn't matter if there's a massive a military or technological difference of like that. Afghanistan, Libya. I mean, we can see many different, spots. Iraq. It's a tough deal. So what are we doing? And has it been explained? Again, I'm not coming out. I'm just trying to lay out the strategic overview here, as I understand. Now, I've been looking at all kinds of sources, military experts, the cable news stuff. Oh, I should disclose this. I have a lot of family in Israel, and I don't want to get too into it. Medical professional called in. I've talked to them extremely briefly. So, I mean, I may be wrong if I'm getting anything wrong, whatever like that. I can't say too much anyway, but I mean, people are working real hard, in the hospital, stuff like that. At least one of my relatives and I have a lot over there, in shelters, and it's a very scary situation for everyone in the region. And I know there's a lot of expats, there's a lot of U.S. citizens, there's a lot of other citizens that are, in different airports or different places in the region. They can't get out. I mean, I feel bad for everybody. War's not a good thing, in my opinion. So, yeah, would people want to see a free Iran? Absolutely. Would we want? I mean, I want peace, prosperity, liberty, opportunity for everybody. Everybody. Israeli people are great. Persian people are great. Palestinian people are great. Lebanese people are great. I love everybody, dude. That's where I'm at. I mean, I'm like, it's not complicated. You look at Dubai, you look at what Saudi's doing, there's a way that we should all get together. It's really sad that we're at this point right now in 2026, as I broadcast here at 12:55 in the morning, that we still have these conflicts. And I know people try to get into all this, the spiritual aspects, and we're going back thousands of years and all this and everything. And I'm not whatever you believe, that's fine. I respect everybody. I respect everything like that. But I think that, as I've said it many times, to me, it's just Game of Thrones, dude. It's been this way for there's always people, they want more. They're fighting for, we're right, you're wrong, and we're fighting for dominance, and who's who's going to take territory, and there's different interests, and it's just the way that it is, unfortunately. But what also is unfortunate is the weapons get better, and right now we're in a situation where offense beats defense. So we have to think whether it's a rules-based order, and again, I don't want to swerve and all that. So realistic. I'm kind of more of a realistic, foreign policy type of person, whatever like that. Great powers. However we're going to look at this, we got to try to figure out a way to all get along and just make it work. You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be a better way to work this out. No different than why we have a constitution in our political system. We can have very strong differences, and we go vote. We talk about it. We have free speech and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And that kind of situation. Now, in an imperfect situation where there are real threats out there and not everyone agrees and not everyone's going to abide by the same rules, whatever like that, then yeah, you have to have defense. And yeah, we'd rather our side win than another side. You know what I mean? So, I mean, unfortunately, that's the world that we still live in. And it's a sad thing. I can't change everything. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm trying to talk some sanity in this world, but that's not super easy. Not that I have I know what I know. I do the best I can, right? I mean, I may make mistakes all the time. But again, without getting into should we have gone, should we not have gone, all that, I mean, that's a whole different conversation. We can have that conversation another day. I want to disclose where I'm at, so I just to see where my biases are. I'm conservative, almost libertarian. I've voted for Trump every time he's been on the ballot and everything like that. But I've got my criticisms of President Trump, and I've got my, I mean, everyone, we all can be criticized, right? And I got my criticism of a lot of other people. But what I'm saying is, now that we're in this, like what's the best way out of this? What's the best resolution? Where is it? What's the impact going to be? Because here's the thing, like the old saying, lose a battle, win the battle, lose the war type of situation, so to speak, to use an analogy, if you will, or metaphor, rather. There's this big kerfuffle in the online. You probably have seen it. You probably have heard something about it. We have people like Ben Shapiro, Bill Ackman, Sean McGuire, Josh Hammer, Cenk Unger, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Mark Levin. There's been this big back and forth. Sean McGuire on this issue. Should we have or should we not? Matt Schlapp is a bunch of other people. A lot of people have thoughts and comments on this. That's totally fine. But what I've tried to express to folks on our side is, I get it, but we all have to stick together, or else the political results. I mean, just look at this last election. The GOP should be losing seats in the midterm anyway. We have a very, very narrow majority. And we're at a point now where this could go really, really well, hopefully, or really, really bad, or somewhere in between. And it's TBD. And that's the thing, like all the apocalyptic, political scenarios out there. Okay, we had the 12-day, situation last year. How much of an effect did it have 6 months later, politically? Negligible. You know what I mean? So how much political impact is of the Venezuela thing? I'd actually argue that probably has a little bit more. Politically, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. And that's pretty negligible. Other than maybe certain spots, maybe Florida and some other stuff like that, but that was already read. I don't know. I haven't looked into that, so I don't know. I'm not making any claims on that whatsoever. But does this make sense? So let's read through the rest of this here, and then this, because this is before now, and then we'll go forward. So this was a quick gut reaction, but what I was trying to caution people is, look, maybe you really wanted this, maybe you're really against it. Okay, we're here. But let's look at the option set and the probability set. What can go right? What can go wrong? What's realistic? What's not? What's our strategy? How do we maximize this and get out? And what is the political impact? That's kind of where I'm coming from. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, right. So let's go back to this. So looking at this likely won't increase, but decrease. We talked about that. Right. So that's the thing. We've seen everyone spinning and this and that and they're going to go to the streets. And I've seen everything from total disaster to they're going to greet us as liberators. They're going to be super happy. We're going to ski the slopes of the potentially of, hopefully, hypothetically, I've seen all this type of stuff, and And there's people like they want to put the monarchy back. Like what? It's just, anyway. TBD, dude. I mean, who knows? But all this spin, all this hype, all this, it's not going to matter. We're there. What happens is going to matter. What's happening right now is going to matter. This is, you can have sizzle at some point. There needs to be a stake. We're in it. Are we winning? Are we losing? What's the result? What's up? And just the math of it and the physics of it, the whole, if the Iranian people, unless we put massive force in there, ground forces with allies, I mean, think about Iraq and all, massive ground forces with allies. We do not have that right now. 90 million people. I mean, dude, I mean, again, and how's Iraq doing? How's Afghanistan doing? And what's the political result of that? I mean, look at me, like, dude, that's a different, I mean, anyway, I don't want to get in on that. I don't want to get into the specifics of all this. All right, let's hope this materializes. Hope and praying for all. Right now, it's looking about 50-50. Could go either way. You've seen that in the polling. But I think it's breaking a different way. Many potentially over-optimistic, even hype predict have not borne out by reality. Right. Oh, it's going to be over super quick. Oh, they're going to agree us as liberators, all this type of stuff. I'm not quoting this. This is a generic, hypothetical, non-specific, my personal recollection, opinion, and on it, whatever, like that. Paraphrase. Generic, meta paraphrase. Not borne out. Similarly, the doomsday predictions not evidence. Right. It's a winding chaos, but also mixed back. Could go either way. You can win military objectives, still lose war, 100%. See Ukraine, 100%. And see a bunch of places, right? Afghanistan, Iraq, Vietnam, etc. And again, it doesn't mean we don't do things. And there's been things where we win. I mean, on the other end of the spectrum, the Venezuela thing could have been the other end of the spectrum. Panama worked out real well back then. You know what I mean? Grenada. I mean, there's different use cases. It depends. Right? Okay. Where both sides losing in that one, right? Keys to focus on major positive political peace and economic prosperity objectives that can be accomplished once a truce is reached, etc. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Now, let's put that in a little bit of perspective. Okay. Let's put that in a little bit of perspective. And so you understand what I'm saying right there. Let's do, what are we doing here? Hold on a second. No, I don't want that. Let's see. Let's go back to that. All right. So what does that mean? That means that let's go to some polls. Hold on one second. Let's go. And I haven't looked at these. We're going to look at these in real time. We're going to look at these in real time together. All right. I know what the headlines say, but I don't know. So let's see here. This is a headline, New York Times. 59% oppose military action in Iran. Okay, by Ruth Igelnik, March 4th. I hope I pronounced that right. I apologize if I didn't. And so, I mean, there we go. So you have a majority against it, right? Apparently, right? 56% too willing to use military force to advance U.S. interests. New York Times. Okay. Reuters poll says 35% says he's been about right. Okay. And only 5% not willing enough. Okay. All three polls found that Republicans are generally supportive. Okay. So this is basically looking at three different polls: CNN, Reuters, Washington Post. 60% disapprove of the attacks. Okay. Now let me just tell you, in political land, that's not good. That's not where you want to be, particularly right now. This is early, players. This is not where you want to be. It's not a political winner. Not now, not yet. Now it can be, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But we got to keep our eyes on pride. But this is where I push back on the people that are for the intervention, stuff like that. You're not, And again, no one. I'm not. There's no quote or anyone. I'm not. This is my meta paraphrase, caricature, hyperbole, whatever like that. I'm just making, whatever. This is not specific to any one person or anything like that. Again, but and I'll phrase it this way. If the suggestion is, hey, just shut up. Hey, you're not patriotic if you're not for this. Hey, why don't you just get on board? Oh, hey, Trump decides what MAGA is. Fill in the blank. That's not going to work, because if support keeps going down, and it could lead to a wipeout in the midterm elections. To use this political capital now, as Barris has said, this was peak presidency, and now we're focusing on this instead of focusing on affordability, instead of focusing on deportation. Then we're going to get to that in a second. And the switch made to homeland security, or whatever it is, whatever your domestic issue is that Trump ran on, that results that can maybe housing, affordability, student loan crisis, SAVE Act. There's all kinds of different things. Tax issue. Now, the one thing, as I've said before, I think that the health team for Trump has been amazing. I think whether it's Secretary Kennedy Jr., whether it's Bhattacharya, Dr. Bhattacharya, Dr. Makari, Dr. Oz. I mean, they're just outstanding. I think the health team is outstanding. I think they're on point. I think they're getting things done. And hopefully, we got a Surgeon General, Miss Means, up there. Nominated, and we'll see what happens there. But the health team has been outstanding. But so the point is that, okay, if you say the perception, and again, I'm not getting into any specific thing, the perception writ large, people just came off the whole, and I'm not going to even name the name stuff, because of all the stuff, but it's the whole disclosure stuff. People were not happy with the whole disclosure stuff. It's terrible, horrific, tragic. I mean, fill in the blank, dude. It's absolutely terrible. And it looks like, it should have obviously it should have came out a lot sooner, in my opinion, right? And it doesn't look like we were being as quickly transparent as possible. Now, that said, hey, players, the ones who want to go after Trump, stuff like that stuff has been there for a long time. Biden, Obama, stuff like that. If I have my timeline right, maybe I'm wrong, not alleging anything. So, I mean, credit where credit's due. Trump's the one that got it out. Now, yes, Congress, Massey, Rokahana, stuff like that. I mean, credit there too, honestly. I mean, and that goes to the whole thing with the meta of all this type of stuff, which is that people, hold on a second. All right, there we go. People want to see politicians being responsive to them. People want to see transparency. People want to see, they're tired of the donor class or special interests or whatever you say, seeming to run policy. They're tired of seeing, that's the optics on the Kristi Noem thing was just terrible. $220 million for a campaign and you're featured in it? Like, what? Like, why do we need that, dude? I mean, the stock act where, the insider trading, stuff like that, Nancy Pelosi, stock trader, there's all this type of stuff. I mean, all these things are almost memes now, bro. And people are sick of it. People don't want a Hunger Games situation. Obviously, but where the capital's the super rich and everyone else is suffering on the outside, stuff like that. Again, that's obviously fantasy, and that's a movie and series and stuff like that. But the point being is, it's politically toxic to have a situation where it seems like you're not listening to the people, you're not responsive, you're punking out the voters that brought you there, and you're more responsive to billionaires and special interests and foreign entanglements and stuff at home. Doesn't mean that foreign stuff isn't important, stuff like that. Doesn't mean it's not here. Now, all of that, so the optics and the politics are very, very important. But I say, okay, I don't believe the New York Times. Okay, cool. Well, let's see. There's more polls. Let's see what this poll said. Again, I'm seeing this in real time, so we're going to go through it together. Fox News poll. Let's see what Fox News says. This is maybe from a little bit. Okay, Fox News. Fox News says Trump's handling of Iran has made U.S. less safe. Players. That's Fox News. Okay? That's Fox News. Okay? So, and again, depends on how you're doing this type of stuff. Maybe I'm reading this wrong, but I think you got to think about it, bro. I mean, you got to think about this, dude. So now, sure, people believe that Iran poses a threat. Fair enough. Okay. So there's cross currents in these polls, as you'd expect. There's cross currents in these polls. No doubt about it. But the point is that you think about like, okay, there's cross currencies, but I mean, there's definitely some things to be concerned about. There's definitely some things to be concerned about. And let's go to one or two more here. Let's see here. What are we doing here? Let's go USA Today. Let's see. Let's see what this says here. And again, we're seeing this in real time right now. Same time. Trump's war on Iran polls badly, but will it hurt Republicans in 2026? Philip M. Bailey, USA Today, yesterday, 10:30 a.m. Okay. We can see this. Okay, right here. Okay. Let's get to the numbers here. Okay. Where are we at here? Where is this? Where's it? Okay. Just 27% of voters approve in the Reuters Ipsos survey. Okay. While 43%, and that was early, disapprove. Okay. And again, people are thinking about what happened with some of these other things. So Washington Post, 52% opposed, 39% support. CNN, 59% disapprove. Okay. Including 68% of independent voters. That's what I'm talking about. Even if the poll's 50-50 and your side, the Republican side's like, they're not going to vote for it. But the independents and the Democrats who don't want it are going to flood the polls. We're going to get wiped out. That's what I'm trying to tell you as a political expert. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. What's going on here? Something's happening. I hope that makes sense. I'm having a, let's see. Okay, so I didn't like that. Didn't like the picture in picture. So even in a situation like that, you can get crushed. You can get absolutely crushed. Okay, let's see if this will work. Let's see if this works. If you're doing that situation, you can get absolutely crushed, and you just got to be careful. I mean, you've got to be politically careful in that kind of situation. That can just be real. I mean, so that's not good. That's not where you want to be. Okay. So yeah, that just keeps going on about, okay. So that's kind of, so they're all saying about the same thing in various ways, but this is not one source. This is like 3 different sources. So that's, very, very important to think about where we're at and where it is politically. It's not there. Now, it's there enough, kind of. Well, let me put it another way. I'm going to say it a different way. You wouldn't want the election held tomorrow. I can tell you that, in my opinion. All right. Now here's stuff from Israel, and again, we're reading this in real time, so I don't know exactly how this is all going to shake out here. Let's see here. All right. Let's see if I can go like this. All right, there we go. Perfect. All right. Poll. This is from the Times of Israel, March 6th. Okay. Poll. Netanyahu's Likud enjoys boost in Iran war, but bloc he leads is no closer to majority. Okay. Unchanged. Okay. So they talk about this. So look, I think it's, whether it's here, whether it's there, I think we're talking about a mixed bag. So what does this all mean? I don't want to get into policy and the politics, and certainly don't want to get into religion and any of those kind of discussions. What I will say to you is, from a political standpoint, this is longer than I wanted to go, but obviously it's a serious issue, and we're going to get into the other fun stuff here, or not fun stuff, different stories rather, some fun, burger mog. What I want to say is, like, look, I'll say, well, before I say this, where I caution the people that are the just say no side. What if the intelligence was really intense, that there was all this stuff and there was major danger and whatever? That's one thing. What if, in addition, that as part of, because they were just coming off the Board of Peace and stuff, what if part of the Board of Peace and that whole push was, look, Well, and I'm just, I mean, I have no knowledge, I have no inside information, no intel, no anything. I'm just speculating, knowing that Trump is a deal maker, in my opinion, and just seeing what's out there and trying to read the tea leaves. What if Saudi, Israel, whatever people said that, okay, listen, we're going to do some grand deal here. We know you need to handle, or we need to handle Iran. If we handle Iran, we'll do whatever, rebuild Gaza, two-state solution, maybe one country, but equal rights. So let me revise and extend that. Apologize. Let me take that back and stuff. It's again, I may make mistakes. I apologize ahead of time, whatever like that. Look, the bottom line is, what if we create a situation, whatever that looks like? I don't want to use the wrong phraseology, the wrong word, everything like that. What if we have a situation where everybody's happy, everybody's, equal, free, prosperous, economically healthy, all that type of stuff, and it's all good? Now, I know that's like a utopian type of situation, but what if that is part of the deal? Okay, we're going to make everyone happy. We're going to give everyone what they want, but we need this, and for this, we'll give you that. What if that deal has been made? What if Saudi's going to normalize relations with Abraham Accords 2.0 with Israel and stuff like that? But in order to do that, we do that. So it's this moving chess piece. It's this moving board. You know what I mean? Like the old game, the diplomacy and stuff like that. You do X, I do Y, type of deal. I played that game a lot. It's like, probably forgetting something. It's a long time ago. But what if there's this grand bargain to finally get peace and prosperity and equal rights and well, I don't want to say, but let me take that back. To get a situation where everybody's happy and there's lasting peace, security, and prosperity for everybody. What if that happens? If that happens, and let's say that, Saudi does something dramatic, Israel does something dramatic happens. I mean, let's just stay on this for a second. If there's this grand, like, major deal where everyone is happy, including Palestinians and Israel and the whole region and the world, and then everyone's happy, is this action worth it? Well, looking back, it might look pretty great, might look good, it might look worth it. Politics can change. Put that aside. Let's say that doesn't happen. But what does happen is all of a sudden we have a free, prosperous, pro-West, pro-whatever Iran, where people are super happy again, the people feel great. We've sort of liberated them, for lack of a better word. Maybe what could happen with maybe a Cuba situation. I'm trying to think of the best analogy recently, and that's the struggle, is that is the whole regime change and spreading democracy hasn't been super effective, in my opinion. But then again, it kind of has. It just has been a while, because post World War II, look. I mean, we now have phenomenal allies in the axis that we fought in World War II. So what I'm saying is, things can change, and you have to try to go for a better result. And that's what I go back to, which is TBD. There's a lot of, you don't know if the investment was worth it until you know the result. It's as simple as that. We don't know the result right now. All I can say is this is a significant risk. If you're just perma bear or perma bull, that's silly. You just say, okay, look, Trump pushed his chips in here pretty strong, real strong, okay, on this issue. Is it working? Is it worth it? We'll find out. We're going to find out. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I try to tell people, and that's what I try to caution people, on this situation. This is what I'm, and I've said this a bunch of different times, dude. I've said this a bunch of different times. And so I think now, look, I think that some of them are listening, I hope. Maybe I'm wrong. And I think it's starting to dawn on something. And look, and you have like, you always have to, and I hate this word, but there's something to it. But I mean, you need a little bit of humility, right? Meaning that like, how do I say this? Bill Ackman put something up, and look, and he hasn't responded to me in a long time, and I don't know. I hope, hopefully I didn't. I don't know. He's not unhappy with me or anything like that. We have some differences of opinions. We have some differences of opinion, and that's okay. That's fine. I like Bill Ackman and stuff like that. But I mean, the guy admitted on his page, he said something, and I had to say something to him, and he, I just want to put something up here to let people know that, one second. Putting this on Andrew Kovitz from Turner Points. Here, so that way people can find it, because I've told people that I was gonna cover it. All right, fair enough. All right, done. And let me see Bill's thing, and I'll try to pull this up. He writes so much. I mean, I don't, if I can't find it relatively quick. He admitted that hey, he was, oh yeah, it was about supporting Ro Kahana before, I believe, because like Ro's like going very left and the whole well text and whatever. He's like, oh, I made a mistake and whatever like that, and so okay, I'll start showing some of this, and like, you'll get a flavor of it. And look, Bill's a multi-billionaire dude, you know what I mean? Like, he's famous. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't need to, I'm not trying to be the peanut gallery or anything like that. Like, but this is the thing. I'm only saying stuff because I like Bill, and we need everybody on our side. Bill, we need you, bro. We need you, bro. We need you, bro. Sean McGuire, Joe Lonsdale, whatever like that. And like, I think like, maybe I'm wrong. Like, I think that Bill is very smart and reasonable and stuff like that. And this is but I think Sean, even though he gets a little bit, I mean, we may disagree a little more. I think Sean is able to kind of like engage in the discussion. I don't know. Maybe, I mean, and Bill could be just super bit like, again, I'm just, dude, could you imagine that dude's inbox? I mean, like again, I don't want to it's not about me. I'm not trying to make it personal. And I like Bill a lot, and I appreciate him, and I appreciate his time, and I appreciate what he's doing and everything like that. But what I'm trying to say is, you can be a billionaire, and you can be a master hedge fund person or VC or something, and have a limited knowledge of politics. You understand, player? The learning curve steep, bro, and the game's continually changing. The game always changes, players. I mean, that's what I'm trying to tell you. So you see that you're seeing here, Bill, and I don't even have it. I don't need to monitor this. But you can see like there's some, I don't know, bro. I mean, this is crazy, bro. I mean, I don't want to get involved in any of that, but you can see like, I'm just trying to get away from this. Okay. There's just, I mean, this is just back and forth. Like, both sides have to chill it out, bro. Now I'm listening. And thinking, I think anyway, like on the one hand, what I really love and what I really appreciate about, hold on one second. I'm gonna try to get to something like, okay, that's cool. Okay, so they like that. Okay, yeah. So I agree with that. From what I see, I mean, again, I'm speed reading this like hyper, like fast, like that. Like, people want transparency, bro. People want transparency, and I'm trying to get to where this is like. They'll post a lot of different things here, as I do. So there's no problem there. But yeah, talking about I think I talked to some stuff on there, and then it was something to the extent of like, I said, hey, look, I made a mistake, and this is like they're going back and forth. Okay, where maybe it was a reply. I thought it was a post. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. It's just. I saw something somewhere, and I have to try to find mine. I can't go through it in real time. I'm just going to try to give me like another 10 seconds, see if I can pull something up quick. it's been a lot happening, obviously. It's been a long week, right? And for a lot of us and stuff. And I didn't get much sleep over the weekend, as you could imagine. But it was something to the extent of like, look, you've made a mistake on Rokahana and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, look, bro, it's okay. Like, I mean, but you guys understand, like, people, we all have to have a little bit of humility. We have to listen to each other. So, like, I don't think I'm going to find it. You know, I'm just trying to go fast. I don't think I'm going to find it. See, well, hold on. Let's see here. See, no offense. Like I said before, that means nothing. It doesn't mean nothing, but that's not going to win you an election by itself. And obviously, those numbers have already changed, and that's fine. And that, like, if you know politics and you know how these things go, you kind of, and again, you could have 81% support and nobody shows up because it's not a voting issue for them. But the other side's 80% against it, and that's a voting issue for them. They're showing up. And same thing with ICE, and the same thing with all these types of things. You know, does that make sense? Right? So I don't think I'm gonna find it. I apologize. I'll try to find it later, maybe if I can. But I'm a one-man band here right now. But it was something to the extent of like, look, you know, I was wrong about this, and you know, if I recall correctly, and Bill, I apologize if I do, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm not alleging any facts. It's my personal, you know, my personal opinion and recollection of, you know, of public, what I thought a public figure may have potentially said. And I'm like, look, it's cool. You know what I mean? Like I get it. Like, but that's what, but I've been saying that for a long time about the whole thing. And I get, again, he served in the Obama administration. He endorsed Bernie Sanders. And I commented like, who did you think this dude was, bro? You know what I mean? Like just look. I mean, how many people were fooled by President Obama in terms of where his policies were? That they were maybe a little more left than they were moderate. Now that looks a lot more obvious. By the time it didn't, we all make mistakes. But I agree with the Ronald Reagan thing of the 80-20 rule. If I agree with you 80% of the time, politically, like we're on the same team. 70% of the time. Maybe 60% of the time, particularly when it comes to these major issues, freedom, security, liberty, you know, the values of the Constitution, stuff like that. So I don't begrudge anyone for strong feelings. I think we all need to, it's a very serious topic, obviously. I think we all need to give each other the benefit of the doubt. I think that we have to, you know, be cool with each other. And remember, it's like, you know, you got to dance. Who brought you to the dance? Don't break up the band. The band's just getting going. You know what I mean? Like, we need everybody in the MAGA, Maha, Little Tech, you know, Tech Bro coalition. We need everybody. You know, I think I have go back and forth with, you know, Jesse Tinsley, Dr. Maximus, surgeon, Harvard surgeon, I believe, in New York City. He's a good dude. Keith Verboy. People trying to I like Keith, man. I mean, look, I could disagree with Keith on a lot of stuff. I'm not saying any specific or I do or anything like that, but like what I like about Keith is he's just not afraid to get in there and mix it up. But he's like a cheerful warrior. You understand what I mean? And I say that very metaphorically. I mean, keyboard, you know, if you will. That, you know, he'll engage in the debate and he's just like, yeah, bring it on. Bring it on. You know, like I may have missed it. I don't think he's threatening to sue anyone or whatever like that. Someone talks smack, he'll talk smack to them, whatever. Okay, and he'll just keep going. And he's just doing his thing, man. He's doing his thing. He's doing his thing, going to, you know, working out, doing his thing, having fun, whatever like that. And that's fine. That's cool. He has his opinion, but he'll listen. He doesn't like block you and, oh, I'm not going to listen, you know, mute you or, oh, you know, or start calling you crazy. I mean, oh, he's I don't know. And everyone can speak for themselves, but, you know, like he's been cool to me, you know, and again, never met him, you know, don't have his number. It's whatever, you know, it's just fine. It's just a little exchange on X, no big deal, right? But he's a cool dude. And the same thing with Lonsdale. Like Lonsdale, like I think he's he's a thinker and stuff like that, you know. But then these people say like I'm a Maccabean and stuff. Okay, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, dude. I mean, like it's everyone's got their point of view, bro. And everyone, and particularly when it comes to religion, stuff like everybody thinks they're right. Whatever you believe in or don't believe in, and atheists think they're right. Hindu folks think they're right. Native Americans think they're right. Catholics think we're right. I mean, everyone thinks they're right. And there's all kinds of different permutations. You know, are you Franciscan? Are you Jesuit? Are you whatever? You know, and it's fine, bro. Buddhist, Muslim, Jewish, whatever. There's the LDS. There's so many different. Look, I just think that like it's the same thing. We're here in America. What's great about America? What's different about America? Why are we in America? Doesn't mean it can't change and evolve, stuff like that. But like if I wanted to be like if I thought I should live like a monk and like give up everything and do that, I'd go do that. But here in America, like we believe in certain things and stuff like that. So anyway, I went way long on this, but obviously it's super complex. But what I would caution my folks, I mean, listen, especially if you're in that like $100 million top VC, top hedge fund, Silicon Valley, New York City, on a group chat with your buddies or friends or whoever, or whatever. It's like same thing with DC, same thing with almost everything. It's like if all I did is talk to powerlifters all day, I'm going to get a certain mindset. Like you got to be able to break out a little bit, especially when you're talking political, right? Because if you're elite at anything, that means you're a subset. Like if I used to be one of the top powerlifters in the world, you know, a world-class athlete. Guess what? Or I would talk to someone about working out. First of all, most people don't work out. That's step one. So if you go to the gym, you're already elite, or you're already like above average. That's better, right? You're already above. You go to the gym, you're above average. I can't remember what it is. It's maybe 25%, 20%, whatever. Even go to the gym, even have a gym membership. So if you even go to the gym, you're like in the top, like, you know, quartile or something like that. Okay. Now, what, you know, people that can train seriously, go so many times a week, bench this, squat that, whatever like that, then you just keep, you know, stratifying it. But if all I do is hang out with the elite people or there's elite bodybuilders, that's just not a normal way of looking at working out, life, this and that, whatever. Doesn't mean it's bad. It could be great. And that's everything. And that goes back to Steve Jobs, which is A players like to work with A players, stuff like that. So that's your worldview. It's understandable. But if you're thinking about politics or marketing, what do people want? You know, what are they going to buy? What are they going to look at? You know, whether it's art, again, you got to make it for the audience. You don't make it for the critics. You don't make it for the studio. You make it for the audience, right? You make it for the consumers. You have to figure out what they want. And Trump has a pretty good read on that. But if you don't get out, you don't talk to the people. If you want to insulate your people, I'm not going to listen to you. Oh, I'm going to ban you. I'm going to cancel culture. That guy. We don't need any more of that for any reason. I don't care what the issue is. If someone's an idiot, if they're disgusting, well, revise, extend that. Excuse me. I apologize. Let me take that back. If they're saying things that are really objectionable, that's what the First Amendment's for, players. You fight bad speech with more speech. You don't fight bad speech with censorship and shutting people down and deplatforming them and debanking them and kicking them off and all that other stuff. Shadow banning them, you know, whatever like that. It never, ever works. And in fact, the attempt to do so kind of probably had a Streisand effect and probably elevated some people that maybe you didn't want elevated. You know, I mean, okay. Let's land the plane on this. Let's move on to the stuff. It's going on longer than I wanted. Look, bottom line is this. I got to go forward to go back a little bit. If you look at the results of Tuesday's elections and you look at, Cornyn, most expensive primary in history. Like, what was this? Like some $70 million, something crazy. Barely above Ken Paxton. We'll get to that in a second. And with Wesley Hunt in the race. Congressman Hunter Rice. So that's kind of a splitter strategy. Do you think that people that voted for Congressman Hunter go to vote for John Cornyn, or were they more likely to vote for Ken Paxton? When you're an incumbent, you can look at it. If you can't get 50%, the vote that's not 50% is kind of the vote against you. Usually. Does that make sense? Okay. So in that context, you think about like, bro, people are not happy about this. And there's different things where they were looking at like, you know, in the different demographic voting patterns and who's voting and why they're voting and, you know, exit polling and all that type of stuff and what's motivating. And I'm just here to tell you, we need major enthusiasm. And someone else said this too. And this is a smart point. And I don't know if it's Jonathan Axelrod or John Axelrod or something like that. He said some really smart stuff. So like the Trump coalition, the brilliance of Trump is they went after low propensity voters, and the base, and they turned them out. But what's the first part of it? They're low propensity. If they're not excited, they're not coming out. And it's not just a cult of personality, it's issues, bro. It's what's that guy that made the saying, the rich man north of Richmond? That dude. It's that kind of vibe, that kind of spirit. It's hillbilly elegy. It's and everywhere else. It could be Detroit. It could be wherever. It could be California. It could be Palisades. It got burned out. It can't rebuild. It's like the feeling of like government's not working for me. I'm getting shafted. I'm not like the opportunity's not there. Parents live better than I. It's like again, you're listening to donors. It could be on the again, the Maha stuff, which is thankfully that's doing really well. It's a range of issues, right? And they want government to listen to them and be responsible and deliver for them. Now, at the same time, where I push back on the other people, let's say the people that are against this intervention is, hey, for some people, this is a big issue. That's fine. That's legitimate for them. That's their issue or one of their sets of issues. Again, I'm not trying to, there's nothing wrong with them saying this is important. Nothing wrong with people from Cuba saying, hey, we want Cuba to be free. I still have family over there or whatever like that. Or they took my land or they took the money or Venezuela or all that stuff. Or we don't want the drugs in here, the fentanyl or the Mexico or whatever. That's probably, I mean, I'm half Mexican on my dad's side. There's probably a lot of Mexican Americans be like, well, it'd be great if Mexico was like, you know, cool, free, everything was safe, and there's no cartels, whatever like that. Now, what do we do about that? How that happens? I mean, that's a whole different discussion. That doesn't mean like, we're rolling in there or anything like that, but it's just like, there's nothing wrong with having foreign policy or certain foreign policy things as part of your portfolio of things you care about. That's what they care about. That's what America is, and that's fine. But from a political standpoint, if like, for the majority of people, if this is a number 10 issue or number 20 issue or number whatever issue, and that's now dominating and spending all the political capital on that, and you don't get anything out of that, that's no bueno. That's what I'm trying to say. This is like, and I said this another, all this name calling, positioning, and this and that spin, and that none of that means anything. What's the bottom line? What's the result? I'm Missouri now. I'm show me. Show me. If you get a great result, great. Maybe this is just a push and it doesn't matter anything. But now that can work in that way. So we'll go back to what I said before. Let's say that politically, okay, well, we went over there, we spent some money, we did some things, but all that aside, a month from now, most people we're out, we're done, and most people don't care that much. It's not a voting issue for them. But for the 5%, 10%, 20%, 30%, whatever percent that really cares about that they're happy that you did that, they're excited about it, that could be a big positive politically. Okay, it doesn't mean everything's political, especially when it comes to wars like that. But I mean, you've got to be able to foresee where there could be a lot of potential outcomes that could be very positive. Of course, there could be a lot of potential outcomes that could be very negative. War in general is a negative. It hurts GDP, it hurts relations, and people get injured and killed. It's terrible. It's a tragedy. War is never a good thing. We haven't figured out how to get past it, and unfortunately, sometimes it is what it is. But I'm trying to lay this out for you of a way to look at this politically and hopefully logically. I think you get the point. So I am TBD at this point. Okay. Now, the other thing I will say is going back to what I said before, from a political standpoint, even the people that were against this thing, maybe it's like, okay, well, we did it. We did it. We're in there. We did this. We're done. That's it. You get me? So now we want X, Y, and Z, or we don't want to talk about this, or we're whatever it is, and we're refocusing. We're pivoting over here. Now, of course, we could walk and chew gum. I get that, but you understand what I'm saying? So sometimes it's like you're a kid. I don't know what the right analogy. I don't want to make an analogy and make a bad analogy, but I mean, we did it, and that's done. And if you're going to do it, maybe you do it early and move on to the other stuff, right? I mean, what's that say about, sometimes, if you're at work or the workouts or any of that, you do the hardest stuff first. I mean, this was never going to be easy. Maybe timeliness. And again, with the intel, we had no choice, that it was the danger. I don't know. I know enough that, like I told my brother, and I've got family in Israel. I've been in Israel. I've been, obviously been in the Middle East, stuff like that. I study a lot of stuff. I know enough to know that I don't know. I know enough to know that I don't know anything, but I know a little bit enough to ask the right questions, and we'll see. We'll see what it is. So yeah, so I hope that makes sense. And I'll take your comments on that, and we'll see what it is on that. But going forward, I think we're looking for the ROI. I think we're looking for the ROI for America, and I think that we're looking for our leaders to be very responsive to it and stuff like that. But I mean, again, any side that you're on, the idea that, oh, just be quiet and we're not talking about this, or you're crazy, and the casting aspersions and be quiet and whatever. Like, no, everybody has a right to speak, and I think we need I think a debate is great. I think a good debate is great. Let's talk about it like that. The whole Marine thing in the Senate, that looked pretty bad. I don't know what happened there, but I don't know. You obviously can't disrupt a Senate meeting or whatever. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know what happened there. But I mean, we're having all this kinds of stuff. Now, okay. Now, there are some people, again, I'm no military expert. Some people are saying, hey, we're winning. Other people are saying, oh, they're different. I don't know. There's all kinds of different speculation on that. And I guess, we'll find out. And then Tucker has said, hey, we should just declare victory and get out of there. I mean, look, the Iranian people are going to determine whatever they're going to do there. Unless we're going to go all in and really and then what? I would not want to see that, honestly. I don't think that's the way you go. Well, we got to figure it out. We got to get allies. We need Marco Rubio rolling on that. We need our diplomats, and obviously Secretary of War. I mean, it's like, we got to figure out what the off ramp is, the successful off ramp. And maybe it is just, we've degraded them militarily for quite some time. But this is what I'm trying to tell you. It's at the end of the day, we're in a world where offense beats defense. At the end of the day, we have to figure out diplomatic and economic trade, stuff like that, solutions. We have to, we just can't. I don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. We got to work with other people. We might be the biggest kid on the block. I get it. Or maybe we're in a tripolar world now with Russia and China. We'll find out. There's different speculation. Again, we're not going to solve that. I'm already an hour into this thing. But hopefully I've raised a couple things where you're thinking about some stuff and seeing how this, because you have to be evidence-based. I don't come at this with, this is my theory and I'm going to show you how it works, or I'm going to prove to you, or I'm going to debate you, or debate me, bro, or anything like that. And everyone's got their little theories. People are saying like, oh, well, U.S. is going to lose, or we're going to win, or it's already over. How do you know, bro? I don't know. How would you know? I don't care if you're that professor dude from China. That he's a cool guy, but he's got his theory like that. How does he know? Does he know what Iran has? No. Does he know who's in charge in Iran? No. Does he know what Israel has and what we have, and are we gonna get more allies? And maybe now Spain comes in, maybe now UK comes in, maybe now no, he doesn't know and I don't know. And I'm nothing against him. We don't know, dude. I'm not on those calls. That's what I'm saying. Like, people just like, come on. You gotta be thought. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know. It's like, I don't know. Just like I don't know how the Supreme Court's gonna rule about something 2 years from now. I mean, who knows? right? You can speculate. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean you don't know anything. It doesn't mean you can't make some inferences. I get it, but it's like, you know, I think that we've been surprised by some things. I think they've been surprised by some things. I think that we're still being able to do some stuff. I think that like, and there's different goals. So we'll see. You know what I mean? But I do think that generally, and we're spin out of this, that people want a different option and they want to focus over here. Hopefully we get a positive result on this. I think that the polls aren't positive. They're probably sinking. However, if we're able to wrap it up, if it looks somewhat, positive or at least not negative, a month from now, 2 months from now, it may not be that big of a deal. What is going to be a big deal is going to be the domestic agenda. What is going to be a big deal is going to be the economy. What is going to be a big deal are these other kind of issues. And let's get to that. So I hope that made some sense. And I hope I dealt with it fairly. I know it's a big issue for everyone. I've tried my best. Again, reserve the right to revise, extend, delete remarks. If I made any mistakes, I do fully apologize. I think that we all need to be kind and patient with each other and understanding what it is right there. But I mean, the bottom line is we need to find, it's not about slogan. It's not about spin. It's not about hype. It's not about convincing people. It's not about canceling people. It's not about shutting down debate. It's about like, look, how do we make, what are the real results? How is this impacting and benefiting America? And how do we get out of this? And how do we, enact policies going to benefit the most of people here, in my opinion. All right. So that's that. Now, if we look at this, what else happened? Well, what else happened was this whole situation where there was a switch at HHS. And I just caught very briefly some of the exchange between like Kennedy and Tillis and Secretary Noem, whatever. And it was just, that was a disaster in my opinion. That was just, okay, so we have other things here. And it's going to go on. We know that. And look at this. I mean, this is what I'm saying right here. It's like, a lot of people are trying to like figure it out. Things have changed. Like this is a tough issue, bro. It's a tough issue, bro. Now right here. So Secretary Noem, we're changing. Trump had changed that. Apparently wasn't happy with the exchange with Kennedy, I think. The ad thing and whatever. That's reportedly. I am not alleging anything. I have no idea. These are public figures, and such. My speculation based on reporting my personal opinion. Senator Mark Wayne Mullen is tapped to be the replacement. And of course, we've got Tom Homan in there and doing some stuff. People weren't happy with the whole Minnesota situation, whatnot like that. On the other hand, Dems are trying to make this like their big issue, right? And the thing with that is that if you look at, let's go to here, you look at this Harvard poll, and this is where this is like Trump's signature issue. Harvard poll says that majority back mass deportations, not just a little bit players, mass deportations. That's the majority. Okay. And some, about a third, want to deport all illegal. Okay. And again, split down here. Now that's what I'm saying. This is where it's like big support with Republicans, majority support with independents. That can win you elections right there. Okay. Democrats are against it, but again, where's the intensity? What's the turnout? All kinds of stuff like that. But massive support for those, right, that are committing crimes here. And I think that's where the focus has been in terms of how they're framing it now. And I think that's the right way to frame that, right? That makes sense. Okay. In my opinion, that's the way you want to frame that kind of issue. So look, again, TBD, same thing. You can say, that's actually not a bad analogy. I think you can sit here and say, oh, we should do this, or we shouldn't do that. Oh, this is why, oh, he's elected, oh, the blah, blah, blah. You can show all the polls in the world. At the end of the day, if you have things that look like they're making things better, safer, like look at the whole thing, National Guard in DC. I know there's a lot of Democrats who are very happy with that. They'll say it quietly because the streets are better. The crime is down. Crime is down. It's been successful, right? On the other hand, you have more situations that, like Minnesota, and that, policy is gonna take some political turbulence. So what happens? What actually happens? That's what's key. That's what's crucial. What actually happens is going to be pretty, very, very important in that. Okay, so I think that's something to remain focused on. All right, now Andrew Kovic of Turning Point USA put this out, and I think this was very interesting, right? I think this was, all right, let's get this out of here. And I said that, I would talk about that. So let's see here. He put something out. Now this was again on the, and this goes back to what I was saying. This goes back to the election, right? And Ken Paxton did make a really, really smart move. I don't know, did he? Yeah, I don't think. I got to go to that. Let me go to. Actually, before I go to this, hold on. Before I go to this, let me go to Paxton, because I think that's the more sort of important way to frame it. I don't know how to put this on sort of auto. Well, we'll deal with that in a second. And well, yeah, let's go here, and then I'll flip it over here. So like Ken Paxton did this thing, and I thought it was very smart politically, because he's in a runoff with Senator Cornyn right now in Texas, and he really, I think, did something very smart. Very smart. Okay, let's see here. Okay, here we go. And it got 3 point. I mean, everyone's going like all over this. All right. Watch this. All right. Let me put this over here, and here we go. So Ken Paxton put this up, and I thought this was so smart. Make sure this is okay. Here we go. Can you read that? All right, perfect. This is 13 hours ago. The Save America Act is the most important bill the U.S. Senate could ever pass. I'm committed to helping President Trump get it done, because there was okay. Backstory. Cornyn was up a little bit, couple points ish over, like 42 to 40, and Wesley Hunt, I think, had like 13%. It was something like that. I don't know if those numbers add up, but I mean, somewhere in there, right? And anyway, the rumor was that Trump was going to endorse Cornyn. A lot of pushback on that. People were like, hey, MAGA base was not happy on that. Influencers were not happy on that. And Trump held off. Has not said anything on that yet. There were other rumors and reported like, Cornyn's waiting to vote on this until Trump endorses him. I mean, who knows? I don't know. This is all speculation. I'm not alleging anything. I have no idea. It's my recollection of reporting. I could be wrong. I'm not alleging anything, etc. Great. Fast forward. Now we have Ken Paxton came out with this, like, whoa, people are reacting to him, game changer. I would consider dropping out of this race if Senate leadership agrees to lift the filibuster and pass the Save America Act. Look at that. Look at that. How smart politically is that? How intelligent politically is that? This dude now looks like a hero. So now instead of like, oh, Trump endorsed him, and it's this fight, and it's infighting, and then Trump, because it's just super expensive. I mean, we could spend that money on other races, stuff like that. Like, I mean, it doesn't, like if they spent, whatever, like 75 million on first round of primary, think about what's going to be spent on the second round players. Like, forget it. Like, who knows, right? And so, but this is advancing this agenda. So now this guy looks like a hero. There'll be other things in there. Trump gets his push here for Save America Act. That's a really, really big deal. Puts the pressure on Cornyn. It's just so smart, dude. This is so smart. Saying that he'll drop out. It's just so smart, I think. I'm not saying it's the most brilliant thing ever, but I'm just saying, one of the smarter things I've seen today politically, okay? John Cornyn is blah, blah, blah. You see that? Refused to support abolishing the filibuster, support fake news reporters, and blah, blah, blah. You can see right here. All right. Truth is clear. No one's more loyal to Donald Trump than me. Fighting in 2011, Mar-a-Lago, blah, 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 lawfare, all that stuff. And something to be said about that. For the good of the country, President Trump's agenda, I'm determined to help him get this done. And you can see here, a lot of likes, huge amount of bookmarks, 3.8 million views, a lot of comments, a lot of retweets. I mean, very positive, dude. very positive for a dude that has 500,000 followers. Now he's pretty good, but it's not like that's like, some 7-8 million people. I mean, that went very viral, bro. Okay. So within that context, then Andrew Colvett said this, still marveling at, and Andrew Colvett, of course, of TP USA spokesperson and executive producer of Charlie Kirk's show, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Still marveling at the chess move from Paxton. He's willing to consider bowing out of the race if it guarantees one of Trump's signature pieces of legislation. This puts Thune in a vice grip, Majority Leader John Thune. He has to choose between actually fighting for a piece of legislation the grassroots of the president want, or admitting it's all been a show. And again, what did I just say? Okay, we have the foreign policy stuff, but now, boom, pivot right back to, domestic policy. If we can advance the domestic policy agenda, then it's all good. It's all gravy. You understand? If we advance domestic policy agenda and particularly get results for the economy, affordability, things like that bring real, then the foreign policy thing is not as impactful. If the domestic policy is going to heck in a handbasket, we're not getting the things, and we're getting the MAGA agenda and the results stymied. But then we're spending time and we're not and we're focused over here, or we're focused over here and not doing well, we're not accomplishing, then it's a disaster. Does that make sense? It's just simple. It's complicated, but it's simple, right? Okay. In one day, Ken Paxton did more to support President and pass the Save America than most senators have done their entire career. And he's still just a candidate. It's a good indication of how he performed in the Senate. And, a lot of people like that, right? And a lot of likes to views. That's a big like to view ratio right there in a book box, stuff like that. And there you go. So I thought that was very good, and I agree with Andrew on that. I think Andrew is on point when it comes to that analysis, and generally, right? Now, meanwhile, going back, so actually this is important, and I don't even want to put it up because it's just too, but I'll cover a couple of different things. You had, look at things that Tallarico has said, okay, in the U.S. in the Texas Senate thing like that. A lot of people on the new tech bros and Wall Street bros that are now supporting Trump, stuff like that, they used to be Democrats, or they were under, and that again, Bill Ackman said about his previous views, or maybe it was Shamant. I don't know. It was one of them. I think it was, I don't know. Maybe both. Who knows? Yeah, not alleged anything. Apologize if I make mistakes. Can revise and extend, etc. Point is this: a lot of these folks, Silicon Valley, Wall Street, that have voted for Trump in 2024, used to be Democrats, or voted for Democrats, or supported Democrats, or may have donated to Democrats, stuff like that. Whatever. Okay, great. If you look now at Roka Hanna, there's a lot of people, Gary Tan, others that are like, we got to get this guy out. He's not representing Silicon Valley, in my opinion. This is my paraphrase of Gary Tan of Y Combinator, like the top, or certainly one of the top incubators out there, whatever, worldwide known, everything like that. Okay. Very unhappy with that. Similarly, so again, you may not be happy. We can have our little squabble. We can't have those squabbles. I mean, we can have the discussions, but we have to still, when it comes time, we're all on the same team, right? And it's conservative movement, GOP, Team MAGA, whatever, Maha, all that type of stuff. Okay. Where I'm going with this is, the leading candidate. Now, let me make sure I'm right on that. Hold on. Yeah. Let me go this. Let me make sure. I don't want to miss. Okay. Well, no. Second leading. Well, it depends on which one you look. Okay. Hold on. I'm jumping the gun a little bit. All right. Let's look at this. Real Clear Politics averages. 2028 election. Okay. Now, you've got Harris here. Now, she's pretty much the leader. If you look over here, okay, pretty much the leader. And I would think that's mostly name ID, right? Whatever. How many people think that she's going to win against Trump in 2028? How many people think she's running? I don't know. We'll find out. But I think she would if she could. Is the money gonna be like, dude, they spent $1 billion and that didn't work out so good. So we'll see. Okay, you know, let's table that for a second. Who's the number one next candidate? Oh, it's Gavin Newsom, California Governor Gavin Newsom, sitting right there at a combined RCP average of 19.9% to 26.4%. Look at that. I don't even want to get into it, but I would say go look at the last month, go look at the last week of Governor Gavin Newsom's comments. Maybe even this week. I would say, players, go look at that. Go look at that. And then tell me who you have a bigger problem with. Let alone Mondami, let alone Spanberger, let alone, Tallarico, and we'll go on down the list. So you tell me what's the bigger danger politically and policy? Megyn Kelly and Tucker, or some other random poster on X, or that? Where the Democratic Party is now, where the energy of the Democratic Party is right now, it's pretty far left, in my opinion. So we have to be very sober and logical, folks. We have to be very rational, folks, about what it is and what the reality is. And I try to tell people, I try to warn people, we've been seeing this for decades now. I saw that freight train coming down because I was involved. I was involved at the grassroots level in politics and campaigns. I went to underground law school at Berkeley. I've seen it, dude. I've seen it. I've heard it. I've heard the academic stuff. I knew where we were going, bro. And the left only goes one way. You understand? Towards central control and all this type of stuff, and the woke stuff, and there's all kinds of different things going on. Again, I don't want to have a big political theory stuff here, but that's what I would tell people and caution people about. Ro Khanna, Bernie Sanders, wealth tax, national. There's all kinds of different things going on. Is that what you want? Is that what you want, dude? So you got to really, really think about that. All right. So I think it's time for people to just take a chill. Because again, both sides, going back to the whole foreign policy thing, we're there. We're there. So I don't know what the use is of, worrying about the people that said that we shouldn't go, and let's, excommunicate them from the conservative movement or stuff like that. Like, bro, like, we're there. We're already there. Now it's, and same thing, like, okay, maybe you didn't want to go, but we're there. So we hope it goes well, right? I mean, we're there. So hopefully it go's well. That's it. We're there. Hopefully it's going to be a good result. We got to move on. So, I mean, let's play it very specifically for the Tucker Carlsons out there, or the Megyn Kellys, or the Candace Owens, or whoever. Fill in the blank. It doesn't matter, right? Are you saying that you don't want Bill Ackman and Joe Lonsdale and these other people to donate to the Republicans, to be involved, to help us, to help build America, invest in here, and do different things? Are you saying you don't want them on our side? Are you crazy? Are you insane? Keith Raboy, are you insane? I can go on that list. Are you insane? We need everybody, dude. Those dudes are legends in what they do. On the other hand, same thing. Like, have you seen the audience size of Tucker and Megyn? Megyn posted something like, dude, she's like 140 million, like something insane level that she's crushing it. I wish. I mean, like, good for her, bro. Good for her. Okay. I mean, there's nobody on that. Someone helped put this list of whatever like that, and they compared like Tucker and Megyn and Candace, and I may be missing someone else. I do apologize. And then they compared it to, like, some others, whether it's that are more pro, the other stuff like Dave Rubin, and I think Crowder, stuff like that. Very, very, all awesome numbers. I wish I had any of those numbers. I mean, I'm not trying to diss anyone, whatever like that, but very different numbers. Very different. Let me see if I can pull it up because I don't want to misspeak here and whatever. Let's see if I can find that. Very, very different numbers. And so, okay, so that's what I'm saying. So going to that, let's say that you're on the side of intervention. So that, are you saying that we don't need Megyn Kelly? Are you saying that we don't need, Candace, and we don't need, we need all these voices. That's massive audience. How do you think we're going to win and get again, take all the foreign policy out of it. Do you want the wealth tax? Do you want what Spanberger's doing? Do you want what Mandami's doing? I mean, do you understand what I'm saying? Like the margins are very small. And in a midterm, we, meaning the conservatives, should typically lose, dude. I mean, it's just, wow, bro. I mean, it's just like, do you understand? Like, bro, I mean, come on now. People have to focus up, bro. People have to focus up, bro. I mean, that's all I can tell you. People have to focus up because it's a different deal. Okay, so then I'm on their show thing. I think it's probably going to be better if I go to, and that's fine. But I think maybe her page. Let's see here. Give me a second. I'm just trying to find this. This may be the better one. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, we need everybody. You can't say, oh, Michelle Malkin. Wow, that's a blast from the past. Look at that. I haven't heard about Michelle for a while. She's doing her thing. Let's see here. Yeah, that's, I mean, right. So let's look at this right here. Like look at the Katie Couric and Gavin Newsom. That's funny. So Katie Couric, this interview, like 100% sure says same JD Vance, and then look at this Zoolander. Come on, dude. What? Listen, whatever. I'm not going to get involved in that, but that's like, sorry on that. Okay, right here. Look at that. Look at that, dude. Look at that. That's ridiculous, bro. 138 million views, right? In February alone. Twice every show in CBS combined. CBS News combined. 50 million more than NBC News. 117 more than Ben Shapiro. I mean, dude, you can't, like, you know what I'm saying? Like politics and broadcasting is a game of addition, not subtraction. It's I don't know what's it's on her. Hold on, let me just I only want to share. I only want to go to this one thing if I can find it real quick, which just kind of like shows the breakdown. It's probably so far down there now. It's like, I mean, that's what I'm saying, dude. I mean, so this is what I'm trying to tell you. Like, you got to deal in real, bro. And we have to, do we want to have people on the same side? Do we want to, I mean, we need everybody. We need everybody, dude. This is what I'm saying. Like we need everybody. So look, I think it's fine. I think it's fine to have the discussions. I think it's fine to have disagreements even. That's okay. But at the same time, like, people have to understand that we got to come back together, right? Because what's on the other side? So anyway, that's all I would share with you. I hope that makes some sense on that. And again, I'm not, everyone can speak for themselves. I'm not here to endorse anyone or whatever or whatnot. And I'm not trying to, sit on the fence or like that. Like, I think all of these, I mean, they're all great and they all do their different things. And obviously I have my own style and I agree and disagree on certain things for certain people and different things. And that's fine. But I would never, ever say like, oh, I don't want X, Y, and Z in this movement, or I'm not listening. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Because I know what's on the other side. What's on the other side are, hard left policies that I don't want to see anything up. I mean, we're not even 2 years removed from the Biden administration. How was that? And people forget, bro. All right, let's spin it forward. So now let's look at this. So Burger Bog. I love this Burger Bog. It's hilarious. And then I may be able to show a teeny bit of this like Thai boxing match that one put up. Oh my gosh, this unreal. Back in the gym too. I'm also doing some good lifts, doing some different things. I can go check out my page, stuff like that. Nothing crazy. 350 for some reps on deadlift, 275 on squat, 225 for reps on bench. It's decent, pretty good for my age and everything like that. Burger Mug. So basically, I think this started with McDonald's and then Burger King got into those two first, and then Wendy's and A&W. And I had them all. They were all, but I don't have them all together. And I have some of the stuff here. And this is just great, you know. And they got the big arch and stuff. And then they get the Burger King. And then people were, I love it. I think this is just fun. You know, this is kind of cool. So CEOs getting involved, doing their thing on here. And then I don't want to have the sound on here, but he's doing his thing. Let me see if I can get the. I don't know if I can turn this. I don't know how to turn the sound off on that. But he was doing. So you have the different people that were doing their thing, and then you have a Wendy's. The Wendy's guy was doing okay, and this is the Wendy's CEO was doing his thing, and people were saying that maybe he did the best. I don't know. I'm not sure. You can judge for yourself. And they had one with like all four up in the A&W person and stuff, you know, versus I think it's kind of cool. I think that's kind of fun. He's out there doing his thing. So that was kind of cool. All right, last thing here, and I think we'll wind it down. I think it's been a night. Yeah, I told you about this. New York bill would ban chatbots from answering medical questions. I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you, and there's other things about like the job losses and stuff. Like it's getting real serious, dude. It's getting real serious, dude. I'm not kidding you. I mean, what is that? Like, let me see if I can find that. Let me go to this thing first and see if I can find that. Let me see, where was that? What am I trying to do? Oh yeah, this is just holy smokes. I mean, I would just go to my page and check this out from One Championship. This was just wow, unreal. I mean, these guys. This almost reminded me of like. I'm not gonna say it was there at that level, but it was. I mean, maybe for time, it was right. There was a championship fight. I mean, this was like Hagler versus Hearns. It was like that first round. I mean, go check that out. That was unbelievable by One Championship, stuff like that. Unbelievable. I mean, that's like, you can see it right there. So that was cool. Now, let me see if I can find this one thing, because they've been putting some stuff up. And again, I'm not here a doomer or anything like that, but I think people have to be cognizant of what's happening. You know what I mean? I can't remember what it's. I've seen it a bunch of times, and now I'm gonna forget. Oh yeah. I think this is it. Job tracker AI. I think this is it. Hold on. No. That's more like no. It's one of these things where you see it and then you like see it all the time, and then you forget, and then you can't find it. You know what I mean? So that's unfortunately, that's probably what's going to happen here. So I do apologize on that, but it happens all the time. It's like there's all kinds of stuff right there. I mean, yeah. I'll just show. I just put this up here so I can show some of these. It basically makes the same point, so it's fine. So I mean, people are like whistling past the graveyard. Maybe there's real stuff happening right now. Crystal ball. Block just cut 40% of their workforce because of AI and reward massive stock surge. Other trying to recreate this. Job loss could get very ugly very quick. It's not a joke, players. I mean, it's here. It's here. It is right here, dude. And there's more and more stuff I'm saying here. AI-driven job loss. There's a lot more that I've seen here. Oh, yeah, here we go. Scoreboard. Wise Tech, 2,000 jobs, 30%. Look at this. Dow Chemical, Block, British American. I mean, it's City. I mean, it's serious, bro. It's very serious. Now, I don't want to get like too whatever, but situational awareness. That's not a bad way to put it. And there's a lot, like I said, we're seeing different things here, and there's a lot more. There's another one that was. I've seen some big Wall Street stuff. There's a lot of stuff happening out there. So anyway, look, I think it's something to be. And I've seen other. Again, I can't verify. I don't know, but like I've seen other stuff out there, like, hey, so and so percentage of big Ivy or top university, Stanford top grads can't get jobs. Harvard MBAs. I mean, it's a new world. We're going to have to see what happens. Now, some people are saying, oh, this is going to be great, and we're going to, everything's going to be super cheap, and we're going to have abundance, and maybe, I hope so. But there's a lot of disruption, and that's where we're kind of goes back to what I was saying before, which is people need it. People are worried about stuff, affordability, this, that, whatever, and particularly young folks. Like we want to see things happening here, focus on here, and being able to make some moves and be able to make some progress and having some success. So particularly in this, and a lot of people say that's what got partly fueled Mondami's elections, that people are very nervous. It's not, was it, people that are used to making six figures and stuff, that maybe they're not doing that anymore. And again, you're seeing some headlines out there that are pretty surprising that you may not have seen, before. So a lot going on. I wanted to touch base and weigh in on that. I hope that was helpful. And, but as usual, I am optimistic. I'm an eternal optimist, and I'm hoping for the best for everyone. Peace, love, opportunity, freedom, for everybody. And I think that, some of these pivots that Trump has heard some stuff. I think he's making some changes, trying to get the optics better, trying to get the policy better, trying to, focus here. I think, again, if the SAVE Act, doing some stuff on the change in DHS and with the borders type stuff, and trying to figure out, hopefully things are, foreign policy stuff's gonna sort out and get better, and then TBD, like everything. I mean, it's not an easy job, and there's a lot of problems out there, and it's again, not to be where my politics are, but we'll see. These are tough, challenging issues and a tough, challenging time. A lot of opportunity, a lot of challenges. So I wish you and your family all the best. Wishing everybody peace, love, freedom, opportunity, security, all that. 100% for free speech, everything like that. It's late, so I think you understand. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you joining me. And again, as always, all my disclaimers apply. All for information and entertainment purpose only. If I made any mistakes or anything like that, I apologize. Reserve the right to revise and amend or delete. All my personal opinion only, based upon the news. I'm talking about public figures, public events, and all for everybody. That's what's up. Peace, love, freedom, opportunity, and equality for everyone, as always. So all my disclaimers apply. My name is John D. Villarreal. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. I wish the best to you and your family, and I will see you next time.